Hey everybody, Jeff with the Grand Lake Outdoor Report. I appreciate you listening. Just like always, all of our friends over at KGVE appreciate you listening. The GRDA appreciates everything that you guys do out there on Grand Lake. And I just wanted to say, man, oh man, if you are fishing out there on Grand Lake this week, you are a diehard. And believe it or not, I've got some reports from some people that have actually been down fishing on some docks down on the south end of the lake, and when they can keep their line from freezing up in the reel, and they really caught a lot of nice crappie. So there was actually some people out there fishing in this lousy weather that we've had. So it can still be done. You know, it's been a lot of years since I can remember guys going out onto the lake and ice fishing, and this is nothing that I would recommend. But I can remember when I was a lot younger man, especially in the upper end of the lake, let's just say from Three Fingers up, when the lake used to freeze over really hard, there was people that would go out and do a little bit of ice fishing on Grand Lake. I haven't seen any kind of a winter in many, many years that would allow a person to go out and do that on Grand Lake. But there's still plenty of people that run around out there in boats and crappie fish. So it's just kind of interesting to think back through the years. I think it was probably the winter of around 1980. I spent Christmas vacation, I believe it was, with my grandparents on Monkey Island. And at that point in time, we just had a little 2-bedroom cabin. We had a small dock, and my grandparents had a 3-slip well in that dock. And you could go down on the dock. It was enclosed. There was a little wood-burning stove, which I still have the wood-burning stove from the cabin. But the little wood-burning stove that was in the dock, my grandpa would fill that thing up with firewood, and my brother and I would sit there and we would crappie fish through the ice. Now he would cut the ice with his chainsaw, and he would cut those 3 wells out, and we would sit there and fish, and we wouldn't usually catch a whole lot that time of the year. The cove that our dock sets in, when the water gets that cold, we usually don't have a lot of really good crappie fishing in that depth of water. But I'm telling you, there's been some years go by here when we had some really, really thick ice. And I can also remember sitting there on the porch at some point in time, I don't remember how old I was, and actually watching the wind break the ice up out in the main part of the lake and listening to it. And I think what had happened was we either had some inflow or we had some outflow when the lake froze over hard. And boy, that ice can tear a lot of stuff up. It's really devastating. The size of the ice sheets that were breaking apart and cracking, and all the sounds and everything that was going on, I can still remember that. And gosh, that could have been 40 years ago. I can still remember the sounds of all of that happening. So anyway, I think we are blessed with a little bit milder winters here. I think we're due any time for a really nasty cold winter. And, it could happen at any point in time. As long as those ice storms stay away, I'll be happy. The cold is one thing, but the ice storms like we had, 15 years or so ago, those were really nasty. And we had 3 of those, and we really don't need any more of them as far as I'm concerned. But so that's just some history about me being on Monkey Island when I was a young man. My grandparents bought the place in Monkey Island back in the 50s. So I've seen a lot of changes. I was born in 70, and I've been coming down to Monkey Island with my family and spend a lot of time on Monkey Island my entire life. So I've seen a lot of changes there, and a lot of changes that are really pretty impressive when you look at the amount of people that come from all over the country just to spend time at the Shangri-La Resort and Terra Miranda, some of the HOAs that we have there, a little bit of the nightlife that we have on the island, boating, skiing, fishing, walking, golf course, golf carts, biking. Boy, I tell you, it's just a wonderful place to be right there in the middle of Grand Lake. So back over to the fishing. I got some reports from some guys that went and they did some crappie fishing in some really big marinas over around Duck Creek, and they actually were able to catch some really nice crappie. They were catching the fish on the 2-inch Lucky Bug in that thunderstorm color and the USA color. Those colors are really, made for that really clear water that we can get down on the south end of the lake. It's thunderstorm and USA, and those are the colors that they did really good on the small size 16th ounce jig head. And they reported that the fish were pretty deep, but they were really hitting good. At that point in time, the shad kill hadn't really started. So we're going to start to see a shad kill, no doubt, now, once this all of the ice breaks up all around the shores and the bays and the coves. You're going to start to see the gulls diving, and you're going to start to see a shad kill. So kind of expect that. I look for the catfishing to slow down. I look for the crappie fishing to stay about the same. I look for the white bass fishing up in the creeks and rivers up on the north end of the lake to just continue to get better and better as we get through January and February. And this cold water is going to really bunch those paddlefish up into huge groups. So it might be harder to find those paddlefish, but once you find them, the colder the water, the bigger the groups that they get in, and sometimes they become easier to catch. So anyway, I'd invite you guys to jump over sometime when you're on the web and visit the new Lucky Strike website, L-U-C-K-E, Strike website. We are in Greenwood, Arkansas, manufacturing American-made hardbait lures, soft plastics, Jimmy Houston Redman spinnerbait, and we pulled the numbers on our assortment last week. We're currently building around 260 items, with about 160 of those items that are made in the United States, right there in Greenwood. That's soft plastic spinnerbaits, hard baits. So we would really appreciate your support. Toby Keith and I would. Toby's my partner in Lucky Strike, and we would really appreciate the support. We'd appreciate it if you'd ask your dealers around the Grand Lake area to support Lucky Strike, especially the American-made products that we're producing there in Greenwood. We will probably be up to full capacity by midsummer, maybe around the ICAST show, which is mid-July, is when we're really planning on having our catalogs and our entire assortment done. So it's really exciting to see the American-made lure manufacturing coming back onshore, and we're really proud of the team we have down there. Hey, I'm Jeff with the Grand Lake Outdoor Report. Thanks for listening.